Children, today we are going to see the continuation of last lesson, plant anatomy and physiology. Under this, today we will learn about plastids. Did you ever wonder how plants breathe, drink, eat and grow? They carry out these functions just like us, yet in different ways. One category of specialized organelle that plant use in order to survive is plastids. Plastid is a double membrane bound organelle involved in the synthesis and storage of food. Commonly, it is found within the cells of photosynthetic plants. Plastids were discovered and named by Ernest Haeckel in 1865. Now we'll see the types of plastids. There are three types of plastids: chloroplast, chromoplast and leucoplast. Chloroplast are green colored plastids, chromoplast are yellow, red and orange colored plastids, whereas leucoplast are colorless. Now we'll see each one in detail. Chloroplast. These chloroplasts are probably the most known plastid. They are responsible for photosynthesis. They are present in leaves and it helps to trap light during photosynthesis. Next, chromoplast. Chromoplasts are units where pigments are stored and synthesized in the plants. These are found in flowering plants, fruits, and aging leaves. Chromoplasts are responsible for the color of flower and fruit. They are involved in attracting insects, various vectors for pollination, and for fruit dispersal. Next, leucoplast. Leucoplasts are the non-pigmented organelle. They are found in non-photosynthetic parts of the plants such as roots. Depending on the need of the plant, they become essentially just storage sheds for starch, lipids and proteins. They are more readily used for synthesizing amino acids and fatty acids. Now we'll see the chloroplast in detail. Chloroplasts are specialized organelles found in most plants. They contain a pigment called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is responsible for the plant's green color and ability to absorb energy from sunlight. And only this energy is used to convert water and atmospheric carbon dioxide into sugars, because only that can be metabolized through the biochemical process called photosynthesis. Chloroplasts are distributed within the cytoplasm of plant cell. In some cells, they are concentrated around the nucleus or just beneath the cell wall. Chloroplasts measure 2 to 3 microns width and 5 to 10 microns in length. And chloroplasts also differ in shape. For example, plate shape in chlorella, cup shape in chlamydomonas, ribbon shaped and spirally coiled in spirogyra. Whereas in higher plants, chloroplasts are spherical or ovoidal in shape. The number of chloroplasts varies from cell to cell and from species to species, but it usually remains constant for a particular plant. Green algae typically have a single large chloroplast, while the cells of higher plants have around 40 chloroplasts. Now we'll see the ultrastructure of chloroplast. There are four important parts of chloroplast. Number one, envelope. Number two, stroma. Number three, thylakoids. Number four, grana. Envelope. Chloroplasts are surrounded by a double membrane called envelope, and this is composed of outer and inner membrane. These two membranes are separated by intermembrane space. Outer membrane is freely permeable to molecules and the inner membrane is selectively permeable and contain many transporters which regulate the passage of small molecules like sugars in and out of chloroplast. Inside the inner membrane is the matrix of enzymes and water known as stroma. Within the stroma, circular DNA, starch granules, lipid globules, and ribosomes are present. Inside the stroma, there are membranes folded into discs called thylakoids. These thylakoids are arranged in stacks called grana. Two adjacent grana are joined to one another by lamella called stromal or Fred channels. On the surface of thylakoid, molecules of green pigment called chlorophyll are present. Thylakoids are site not only for photosynthesis but also the synthesis of ATP. Thylakoids also contain accessory pigments, enzymes and electron transport chain. Now we'll see the functions of chloroplast. It plays a major role in photosynthesis. It helps in the temporary storage of starch grains called pyrenoids. At night, the starch is transferred to regions of growth and storage. Fat droplets are stored in the matrix of chloroplast, and it also helps in the synthesis of fatty acids. Now we'll see about photosynthesis. I hope everybody would have learned this topic in your lower classes. So still we'll have a small recap about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process by which autotrophic organisms like green plants, algae and chlorophyll containing bacteria utilizes the energy from sunlight and synthesis their own food. The term photo means light. Synthesis means to build. Okay, so it is the process of synthesizing their own food. So in this process, the carbon dioxide combines with water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to form carbohydrate. So during this process, oxygen is released as a byproduct. And now we'll see the raw materials which are necessary for photosynthesis. There are four raw materials which are necessary for photosynthesis. First, sunlight. So the energy we get from the sun. Number two, water. Water. The plants absorb the water from the soil through the roots. Third, carbon dioxide. So it is assimilated from the atmosphere through leaves containing small pores called stomata. Chlorophyll, the green pigment of chloroplast, and it is an organelle of the cell or leaf. And this is the equation given. Equation is for both word equation as well as the symbolic representation of this photosynthesis is given. Now we'll see the photosynthetic pigments. The pigments which are involved in the process of photosynthesis are called photosynthetic pigments. So photosynthetic pigment, if you take, there are two types of classes. Number one, primary pigment. Number two, accessory pigment. Chlorophyll A is the primary pigment that traps the solar energy and converts into electrical and chemical energy. So since it traps the solar energy and converts into an electrical energy, it is called as reaction center. Whereas other pigments such as chlorophyll B and carotenoids are called accessory pigments, and these pigments will pass the absorbed energy which is taken from the light and they transfer to the chlorophyll. So this accessory pigments are called as harvesting center. So this reaction center and harvesting center together are called photosystem. How sunlight plays a major role in photosynthesis. So based on this, here we have two important reactions that take place. One is light dependent reaction, which is also called light reaction, and other one is light independent reaction, which is called as dark reaction. So we very well know that these two reactions takes place only in the chloroplast. But even it takes place in chloroplast, it will take place in a different site. Okay, because for light dependent reaction it requires sunlight, whereas in light independent reaction it will take place in the absence of sunlight. Now we'll see about light dependent reaction. This light dependent reaction is also called as light reaction, because I told you already, since for light reaction the sunlight is required. So this reaction takes place in the presence of light. So it is also called light reaction. It is also called Hill reaction because it was first discovered by a person called Robin Hill. So this reaction was named after him as Hill reaction. And this light dependent reaction takes place in the thylakoid membrane. And in thylakoid membrane especially it takes place in the grana. So during this light dependent reaction, the photosynthetic pigments will absorb the light energy and convert it into the chemical energy. that is ATP and NADPH2. So the products of this light dependent reaction, that is ATP and NADPH2, are used for light independent reaction, and this will act as a fuel for the formation of sugar molecule in light independent reaction. Because light independent reaction is also called as dark reaction. That means this will take place in the absence of sunlight, and it is also called as biosynthetic pathway or Calvin cycle, because this reaction was first discovered by an American biochemist called Melvin Calvin. So this reaction was named after him, called Calvin cycle, and for this work he got Nobel Prize in the year 1961. This light independent reaction will take place in the stroma. So the energized electrons from the light dependent reaction will provide the energy to form carbohydrate from the carbon dioxide molecules. Okay, so this reaction, since it takes place in the absence of light, it is called light independent reaction. So during this reaction, the carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrate with the help of the products that are generated from the light dependent reaction, that is ATP and NADPH2. And this is the overall view of both Hill and Calvin cycle. So at the end of this reaction, okay, with the help of this photosynthesis process, the sugar molecules are synthesized. Now we'll see the difference between light and dark reaction. Light reaction is also called light dependent reaction, whereas dark reaction is also called light independent reaction. Light reaction requires sunlight, whereas dark reaction does not require sunlight. And this light reaction takes place in the grana of chloroplast, whereas the dark reaction takes place in the stroma of chloroplast. In light reaction, it uses the light energy to make ATP and NADPH2, whereas in dark reaction, the energy derived from the light dependent reaction will form the glucose molecule. So this is the process of photosynthesis. Now we'll see the factors which are affecting the photosynthesis. There are two important factors which are highly responsible for photosynthesis. Number one, internal factor. Number two, external factor. The internal factors are pigments, leaf age, accumulation of carbohydrate and hormones. So if there is any change in this, the photosynthesis will be affected. Number two, external factors. So external factors are light, carbon dioxide, temperature, water and mineral elements. So if any of these molecules are received less in amount, okay, then it will directly affect the photosynthesis. So there are two important factors which are responsible for photosynthesis. So by this we have come to the end of the class. Thank you. Have a great day. We'll meet in the next class.